Welcome to Catch Outdoors. I'm your host, Captain Rob Modies. This podcast is about living and playing in the Florida Keys. I cover my favorite sport, fishing, but also all the many things to see and do down here in the islands. Thank you so much for tuning in, and now it's time to kick back and relax with me in the Keys. This week's episode of Catch Outdoors is number 172. Catch Outdoors brought to you by Spotify and lots of other streaming podcast sites I thought I might mention. Your favorite ones probably included. The title for this week's episode is Dining Out in the Upper Keys. Yep, I'm going to cover all the restaurants from Key Largo down through Islamorada, but only the ones that Janelle and I have had the pleasure of visiting. We both made a decision months ago that we'd gotten locked into going to only a few favorites, so we decided to mix it up more and try new places, at least once every few weeks. And now there's a pretty substantial list. I counted it this morning when I was putting the notes together, 25. So we've been here, 2.5 years? September, October, not quite. Yeah, so we do love dining out. So I'll be starting that after my initial notes about the past and upcoming week here in the Keys. As of Sunday, things got a whole lot quieter down here after a very busy holiday season. School started back today, Monday, and a lot of places in the U.S., and so did regular work schedules. Traffic heading north on US 1 was very noticeable on Sunday. It was also noticeable on Saturday, but it was crazy on Sunday. They were getting the heck out of Dodge, man. They were going home. Now begins what is usually snowbird season down here, but I have to admit it's not like other Florida locations that I've lived in the past. Seriously, nothing like Fort Myers Beach, or definitely not like Sanibel, Naples, and Fort Lauderdale. The extra guests will be here until about the middle of April, and that's when most of the spring breaks around the country have ended, and also the spring-like weather up there is starting to kick back in. We used to refer to it as Tax Day was the day, April 15th, but that's no longer true as much as it was. I mean, back 80s, 90s, if you were doing your taxes, you had to go home to sign and get them posted up on time. We didn't have all this fun electronic stuff and online stuff, so that was the great exodus when I was a fishing guide over on the west coast of Florida. April 15th, man, they were April 10th or so, they were getting out of here and on their way back. Let's see. That just reminded me about population increases during the winter. Sanibel Island, I looked this up. Sanibel Island had a standard full-time, still does, population of about 6,000 people. The winter population is 20,000 people. I had to look the number up and find it. It's incredible. And that's even after COVID, and hurricane. So it was more than that, but pre-hurricane, the guest number on Santa would be around 30,000. Would be a jump to 30,000 people. That also occurs down here too. I had to look it up. We have a population of about 83,000 full-time residents here in the Florida Keys. It's hard to pinpoint the uptick in the winter, but we have literally over 4 million overnight visitors per year, with a huge part of that taking place in the winter months, and also for Fantasy Fest and other large festivals. I'll say this, it's gotten so big that there are now concerns about continued building. Imagine that. Really? We have this issue with evacuations is the problem. There's a safe population number that has to be adhered to here in the islands, and it's locked in by law. You see, there's only one road out that leads to only 2 exits. So the main road runs over 100 miles, we're at mile marker 104, so it's around 106, I guess, 7. And then it splits into Cardstown Road and of course, the 18-mile stretch. But basically, you have one road out of the Florida Keys. So the evacuation stuff gets really, really complicated, and especially in season when we have all these extra people doing everything from staying in hotels to camping and RV parks. And so what happens with potential storms in the springtime, summertime, so these will be summer guests, of course, not winter so much, but in the summer, when we have emergencies like a nice big old fat tropical storm or hurricane and potential land strike, these people have to be moved out. All of us do. And so what they do is they make the tourists go first. So if you're an RVer, you're out first. If you're a hoteler, you're out next. And if you are a resident, you're out third. And of course, it goes by location where they believe it's going to hit. So this is all tricky stuff. And this has come up recently with this population problem and this building problem. They're like, you all have got to stop building. We can't keep throwing people in here, residents in here that can't get out when a storm comes on top of all the guests that are piling in here. So I'll keep you posted. There's been a lot of news of that down here. You don't hear much about it anywhere else because evacuations are, while still a problem, they're not like one road. Although I've seen I-75 when everyone's trying to get out of Dodge over on the West Coast. Yeah. Just saying. Let's talk about the weather. Some really nice days recently, but once again, a lot of wind. No rain, though, but abundant sunshine. By the time y'all listen to this, a substantial cold front will have be coming at. Well, actually, it will have passed through. I'm recording this on Monday morning, so the fishing didn't go over today like I hoped it would. Way too breezy again. But by the time you listen to this on Tuesday, tomorrow morning, we'll be right up against a big time cold front, which shall blow through here tomorrow and late into Tuesday night, Wednesday evening. We're supposed to get 50s again, but a lot of wind, so it's going to feel a lot worse than that. Yes, we have wind chill here. I know that's a joke for some people, but we do. No word on the lows just yet, but I saw numbers around Miami in the 40s, high 40s. Down here, 50s. I think I saw 55 to 56, but it hasn't been locked in stone yet. We'll probably get a better report by tomorrow morning. Oh, joy. But overnight, things are going to cool off and the breeze is going to pick up. Hey, it's winter in the Keys. Come on. It'll bounce back in no time. It always does. Everybody will be lying around the pool in the sun, smearing on the sunblock. It'll be good. Drinking pina coladas. Tides are at their weakest this week, but will come around in a hurry. Full moon's on the 13th. I think that's Saturday. I'm not real sure. Trying to keep track of this. My whole week and all my days, I don't know about you all, are all just messed up from the holiday Christmas being on a Wednesday and then New Year's on a Wednesday. I don't know. The whole week just seems weird. It's almost like the time change nonsense. Early morning lows and afternoon highs, followed by evening lows. I'm speaking of tides. Sorry about that. Early morning low tides and afternoon high tides will be happening for the better part of the week. Red tide report, there was none in the Florida Keys. No fishing this week. Bah humbug. There are pros and cons to owning a shallow water skiff. Tough to handle the wind on the open bays, but great in the way back. I'm learning patience. It's okay. I'm getting older, and the older I get, the more likely it won't go out on a marginal day. It's best to wait for pretty ones because the fish also will wait. And, there was a time when I fished almost every single day and sometimes twice a day as a guide, and you fished in all weather because the people that were down didn't really care if it was sprinkling or windy or whatever. They were hell-bent to go fishing, and it's nice now to be retired from that, and I don't have to do that. So there you go. Again, it's still a bah humbug, though. I like to go every week if I can. I like to just I just like to get out on the water. I've already told you all this. Fishing is fine. I don't want to call it secondary. That's not fair because I love fishing. But the reality is I would take a really nice boat ride up into the back, sit and watch nature, just what's going on up there, like my crocodile encounter last week. My latest monthly article is out in Coastal Angler Magazine Keys edition. You can pick up a copy from a ton of places here in the Keys and also read it online at coastalanglermag.com. Look for the Keys edition. And as promised, here we go. Let's see. This This is pretty extensive. I don't want to make it boring. I'm going to try to make it fun for you. It was fun for me to write all this down and to reminisce, to be honest with you. As promised, here's a segment 1 of 2 about dining out in the Keys. I mentioned earlier, I'm only going to do the places that we have eaten at. That's all that will be mentioned in the podcast. If you have a recommendation for a new one that you've enjoyed and think we should try, by all means, send a note and we'll check it out for the upper. And of course, I'm doing the lower Keys too. So don't send anything on that yet. Let me get through the lower Keys next week. That's going to be from, below Islamorada south all the way down into Key West, all of Key West. So in Key West alone should take me 20 minutes at least to cover, maybe a half hour. We've eaten a lot of places there. So here we go. Dining out in the Upper Keys. I'm going to start with Key Largo, obviously, and then just work south. So first location, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. Always sit outside if you can. Service is fantastic. I cannot tell you how great the service is. If you can walk in and grab a table. They don't make you wait for a seat. So when you get there, if you see a table, you go to the table, sit down. It's all outside. And this is the outside seating. I'm not sure about inside. I don't think I've ever sat inside, to tell you the truth. The servers will run you out. They'll get your water. They'll get your initial drink order. Then another server might show up to help you. It might be somebody totally different than the guy that first ran into you when you first got there. But it is hustle bustle. There's live music. Beautiful scene. You're looking right out on Blackwater Sound. It's breezy at times if the wind's out of the north. Otherwise, it ain't bad at all. As a matter of fact, the bar is huge. Bar is gigantic. And it's a gathering place. One of the things I like about it is just the fact that you see not only all the tourists in, but a lot of locals are in the Big Chill. Obviously, football Sunday's a big day, which is it's over now if you're a Miami Dolphin fan. Anyway, I don't want to go there. Not right now. So the cool thing about the servers is they roam around and deliver free shots. So they have all these little frozen drinks and these weird little concoctions that you can order off the menu, your tropical drinks. And to tease you, they'll bring around little samples of these things in shot glasses and deliver them to the table free of charge. And there's music, of course. They've got a big old stage at the far end of the bar, and they have live music as well. I enjoy the place. It's across the street from us, so of course that makes it very easy for us to make a quick decision to run over. Burgers. I'm a burger person. Oh, you're going to hear that throughout all these things, all these recommendations and all these reviews. But a great burger, really good fries, and fresh fish. Obviously, you're in the Florida Keys, so you're going to get fresh fish. So that is Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. The Sundowners, which is pretty much next door, just slightly north of the Big Chill. This is a nice little laid-back, hidden from the road, also directly across the street from us. Good burgers, but my favorite there is the grilled chicken and avocado BLT. The first one I had a year ago, I guess, but after that, it's pretty hard for me to avoid that. There's something about grilled chicken with avocado on it, and then adding bacon, lettuce, and tomato. It's just all that. Good seating inside now. Outside seatings, they have music on the outside and a really nice bar out there, and a nice view of Blackwater Sound once again. This is basically direct. Sundowners is almost right next to the Caribbean Club, which is across the street. Now, I did not include the Caribbean Club because they don't serve food. Okay, so but if you're looking for a locals hangout for drinks and especially for sunsets, then obviously the Caribbean Club is a great place to go. But Sundowner serves really good food, so don't hesitate. And you can hide inside too. If it gets too blowy, too cold, too chilly, too hot, you can come inside and enjoy the air conditioning or the lack of the wind blowing on you. Let's see. On the same side of the road, the bay side, is the Lazy Lobster. Really good food. Almost across the street from Penny Camp, the park entrance, the state park entrance. My favorite thing besides good food is the outside dining in a giant tiki bar, tiki hut, tiki house. tiki building with surrounding gardens. Really relaxing and even tolerable on a hot day. It's one of those extra special shaded places with ceiling fans and whatnot. So you don't really need the air in locations like that, as long as you've got a little breeze blowing on you and you're protected by all the plants around you. As I've already mentioned, I'm a burger guy. However, they have fresh lobster dinners in season. So when Florida Lobster is in, they have a complete section of their menu of everything lobster that you can think of. The prices will be a little high because Florida Lobster ain't cheap, but I think having a single dish there or a dinner there would certainly be worth it. So be sure to check it out. Lazy Lobster. Moving down the road, the Fish House. Bum, 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 bum. Clearly a favorite of ours. On the Atlantic side, but no water view. Who needs that when the food and service is so damn good? Listen, fresh fish. I have not had, when I say fresh fish at other places, it's good. I have never had fish as fresh as it is at the Fish House. I've often told people the story of being around the back when I'm up. I go up there sometimes to buy fresh fish from their fish market, and you'll see the guys unloading the trucks and bringing in fresh fish from the charters and from the boats that they're on, and that's all I needed to see. And invariably, the special is going to be something really serious like hogfish or wahoo or something really, really good. So it's hard to pass. The coolest thing about that place is the service at the table. It's manned by two people, the drink server and your food server. They work together to make your evening extra, extra special. You almost never have to ask for a refill on anything. Even if you're just drinking water or iced tea, it's always going to be there because of the drink server. Their signature dish is the yellowtail matacumbe. Try it. You won't regret it. You will not regret it. It's absolutely delicious. Hint. Here's your hint. The conversation is best at the bar, but there are very limited seats there. So get there early if that's what you want to do. Janelle and I are bar sitters. If we can get to the bar versus sitting at a table in most restaurants, we prefer the bar. And again, that's just a service issue. If you're sitting at the bar, you get noticed because the bartender or tenders are always there, and they look over and go, oh, you definitely need another drink. Oh, would you like some water? Oh, do you need anything? You need some napkins, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a constant eyeball on you. And we like that. Most people do. Let's see. Next on the list is the Hideout. I love the fact that they're located at the end of Transylvania Avenue. What? Okay, why do you name a street Transylvania Avenue in Florida? I have no idea. Anyway, there's also a water view of Largo Sound on the Atlantic side. That's the body of water that we live on, is Largo Sound, and which, by the way, is a really pretty view. This is our favorite early breakfast spot. We love the atmosphere. We love the prices. I usually just do eggs over easy with a sausage and toast, but my favorite side dish at this place is called the hash brown casserole. It's cooked in a little miniature casserole dish. I'm talking, little, and baked. Oh my God, it's good. It's got a little spice in it. There's just something yummy about it. And I almost always order two so I can take one home with me. But eggs to order, fun crowd, really great. Weekends, you may have a little trouble getting in there on a weekend. It's a small place, and all of the car groups and motorcycle groups from up in Miami who come down to the Keys on a Saturday know about it. And so they invariably stop Saturday and Sunday. They invariably stop on their rallies. And so you come around the corner and see 17 Porsches parked in, or 17 Corvettes. It's like, well, maybe I'll wait a little while. So just so you know. Let's see. Next on the list, Snook's Bayside Restaurant and Grand Tiki Bar. And they ain't kidding about the grand part of the Tiki Bar. This place is almost always a big party. The first time we went in there a few years back, there was a luau. And I mean a serious luau. Hawaiian dancers, lays, the whole bit. It was absolutely insane. They have an enormous outside-only dining area. Some of it's on sand, some of it's on a deck surrounding the bar area. Live music pretty much all the time. Every time I've been there, there's somebody playing live. And this is also where you can board the Key Largo Tiki Tours. And if you haven't done that, is really a lot of fun. The tiki tours are a little round tiki boat that holds 6 people max, with a captain sitting in the middle. It's a BYOB and BYO brunchy stuff and BYOB appetizers, and they captain you around so you can go watch the sunset. They actually go all during the day, but the sunset trips are the best because you get to go out and do the sunsets. Dolphin will usually show up at these things because I think the dolphin are just fascinated by the boat. And it is a ton of fun. Janelle and I have done several of these, and we will certainly do it again. It's a blast. And that's where they leave from. They leave from Snooks Bayside. They have an extensive menu, but you know me, I'm the burger guy, and they have great burgers and great fries. So that's really all I need. The seafood's fresh. Don't get me wrong. Be sure to keep an eye out for their fresh fish dishes that come in pretty much daily. And Janelle a lot of times eats fish. She doesn't do the burgers, so I'm speaking from experience. She's always raving about the food, so it's pretty good. And we've done quite a few dinners there. Also keep an eye out for their mini festivals, like the one we ran into. They have quite the party bash when they do that. Who's next? Bayside Grill and Sunset Bar. This is located on Buttonwood Sound. That's on the Bayside. A beautiful view, I got to tell you, especially good for sunsets. The name. Bayside Grill and Sunset Bar. Yeah, right. The ground floor has a beach with like picnic tables. There's a bar downstairs. There's regular tables downstairs as well, and that's where the live music is. There's entertainment down there. Some of the guys I know, and it's really great to go and listen to these guys play. It's a great location for music. Really good food, really good drink. Besides the downstairs, and that's the Bayside Grill. Upstairs is the Sunset Bar, and up there there is you can sit indoors. It's got giant picture windows, so you aren't going to miss anything. And then what everybody does at sunset is they roam out onto the balcony or they head down to the beach park to take photographs of the sun going down. Here's the odd thing. My favorite dish there is Caribbean baby back ribs. That's right. I don't do the burger and I don't need the fish. And it's rare to really find a great rib place in the Keys. I'm sure there's others. If you know of one, let me know. I love baby back ribs. The Caribbean baby backs, they're roasted with homemade Captain Morgan spiced rum barbecue. Yeah, yum! I just made my mouth water. I got to go back. It's a full rack too. It's not a little bitty portion. This thing will cover your plate, and of course, order some veggies with it. But man, you just cannot beat the Caribbean baby back ribs at this place. So let's see. I'm moving right along. DiGiorgio's. DiGiorgio's Cafe Largo. It's Italian, very Italian. And highly recommended if you're in need of lasagna, spaghetti, or anything involving homemade tomato sauce. Prices are also very fair considering the amount of food versus the cost. Oh, and the garlic bread. Oh my God, the garlic bread. I made a little note of that with an asterisk next to it. Yeah, by all means, if she says you want bread, you do. You absolutely want bread. And then there's this special there that I have fallen madly in love with. It's called the Martini and Meatball Special, and it's every weekday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So basically, it's like a happy hour item. It's a Grey Goose Martini with a huge homemade meatball on the side. $10. Heck, Martini... I mean, seriously, Grey Goose martinis are more than $10 at most places down here. You're talking $12 to $15 for a daggone martini. Here for $10, you're going to get the martini, but you're going to get this huge meatball. Oh, handmade meatball. They are absolutely delicious. As a matter of fact, so good, I almost always have to get a second martini. No, I don't just ask for a second meatball. Don't be silly. Yum. Just thinking of it. See, I did all these notes the past couple of days. Now I'm ready to go out and go eat somewhere. Let's see. Next on the list, Mrs. Mack's Kitchen. This is the little version. So there are two Mrs. Mack's Kitchens. There's one like in the middle island, right when you get down to the end of Key Largo where the road splits into it splits with a great big wooded island in the middle, down for several miles before it comes back together again. The little version's on the right as you're going south, so it's on the bay side. I've only been there once, and it was memorable. A small place, crammed with tables, had a wonderful breakfast. I didn't have the biscuits and gravy, which is recommended, but one of our friends and relative, Roy, had it, and he says it's absolutely delicious, so I trust him. They go there quite a bit. But it's another breakfast spot that I would try. I remember doing hash browns and thinking they were delicious, and by all means, I'm almost sure I must have had eggs over easy along with sausage. That's usually my go-to breakfast around here. So Mrs. Mac's Kitchen, little version, so you know. I think that's how they denote it online as well. Let's see, C&C, that's the initials, C&C, Woodfire Eats. Okay, this was a bit hard to find, but certainly worth it. Janelle came to me with this one and said, we got to try this. I think she might have seen something about it on one of the handout magazine type stuff she gets for tourism. It's just off US 1 in Key Largo, in the area where the road splits going south, so in the same general area as Mrs. Mac's little kitchen. It seems the observers there were just having fun. I can't tell you how much fun it was to be surrounded by people laughing and giggling and carrying on, including the servers. It's known for its pizza, which I'm not all that fond of. I'm not a big pizza eater. I know, weird, but anyhow, everything else in there is wood-fired. So I'll caveat with that. I mean, what can you not like that's cooked in a wood-fired oven? I had this little casserole dish of huge stuffed mushrooms with meat and tomato sauce in them, fired in this oven. It just made the dish a winner. I'm not kidding you. It was delicious. Put a little Parmesan cheese on top of it, and you're just good to go. Again, making my mouth water. Don't serve booze if they have beer and wine, just as a side note. C&C Woodfire Eats. The Pilot House Restaurant is next. Again, on the back road on the Atlantic side, not too far away from C&C, as a matter of fact. Well hidden, let's put it that way, off the main road. You're gonna have to Google it to find it. You're gonna have to map it to find it. When you first walk in, you'll think it only has about 10 tables. Wrong. There's a big bar on the right and an enormous seating area behind that. The food is good, fresh fish. One of my favorite cheeseburgers I've ever had is in there. There you go, back to the burgers again. Good fries. There's live music, and you're seated right next to a big marina, so there's plenty to watch and plenty to see and do on the water right next to you. My friend and producer Billy Davidson plays there often, so they've got a stage up there where they bring artists in to play singly. Typically not bands, but typically just a single artist, so you can catch Billy there every now and then. I think he typically does a Wednesday night. Next on the list, Key Largo Fisheries, also on the same side, also on that back road. If you want it fresh, give this place a try. I ain't kidding. Outside picnic-style seating, live music. You order from a window and then pick up your food and drink and head out to the picnic tables. Good prices and yummy shrimp. I mean, really fat. They know how to cook shrimp. Let's just put it that way. They don't overdo it. I hate shrimp that's tough because it's been cooked too long. Not so there. The shrimp I had was delicious. This is usually where I also go to buy my fresh seafood. I go there early in the morning when the trucks and boats are coming in. They got all, there must be, I don't want to exaggerate. There's 10 to 15 ladies and gents in the back filleting fish, getting stuff ready for market, getting ready to ship stuff out to the local restaurants. It is a busy, busy place in the morning, but it's a great place to get fresh stone crab claws, fresh lobster, Florida lobster, as well as all the fish that's coming in that day. And it's by far the best price on mahi that I have seen in the Keys, by quite a bit, as a matter of fact. Let's see, where are we? It says Key Largo Fisheries. Time to turn the page. Oh, okay, we've moved down to Tavernier now. Okay, that was Key Largo. And by the way, there's at least as many more restaurants that we haven't hit up here. So I guess I'll do this again next year. What the Fish? I love the name of the place, What the Fish. On the Atlantic side, just over the Tavernier Creek Bridge. We found this by accident last year while we were attending the Saltwater Sportsman Seminar put on by George Poveromo. There was a lunch break in the middle of the day, and we didn't bring anything. We just said we'll just blast off and hit one of these restaurants. And obviously, a lot of them were packed because George's saltwater seminar here in the Keys is a sellout every time. Matter of fact, I just got my tickets for it. It's coming up February the 8th, and I just got my tickets. Janelle and I are going again. The lunch break. The service was fantastic at What the Fish. We went through several places. Too big. What is this? Like a sandwich shop. Basically, you walk in. There's a guy behind a counter. He's got his samples out of what he has. He talks a mile a minute. I don't know what country he's from, but I could understand. But I'm not sure what off language it was. But anyway, he talks a mile a minute. You get your basket, get your stuff, get you ready, and then he has you pick out a rubber animal, like a rubber duck. And it can be, I don't remember, it was like little manatees and rhinoceroses and all kinds of weird stuff in this giant basket. And you pick that out, and he writes down what you picked out on your ticket. And then you go find your table. And they find you by your rubber animal. So whatever you've picked, it goes find the guy with the hippopotamus, find the guy with the duck, whatever, and they bring the meal out. The food was great. I ain't kidding you. It was really just a pleasant surprise. I mean, it was total bedlam because the place was packed with people from the seminar. But there's a reason that some of those people were there. You could tell they were talking about, we've been here before. This was great. And I was surprised that we'd missed this. So when the dish is ready, it comes out. I had a basket fish tacos, and they were really, really good. So highly recommended. Lido 73, brand new and in the same area as What the Fish. Inside and outside seating. We didn't know about the outside, so we sat in. That was a mistake. I mean, not from a food or not from a service side, just the view on the outside is way, way better. We didn't know. When you walk into this really nice restaurant with seating. It's got the kitchen, the bar. There's a bunch of stuff going on all around you. But you go through and out the back door, and ta-da, they have dockside seating. And we found that out after we'd eaten. We went out and we explored is basically what we did. But anyway, back to the food. Service was great. Food was wonderful. I mean, the food was really delicious. We both had wood-fired salmon. Now, I don't normally order salmon. I'll cook it at home. I love getting a fresh piece of salmon from way up north and then, of course, cooking it on the grill. But I don't know, we were both just in the mood that night, and that's what we got. And it was freaking delicious. They also have great bread. Yum, yum. Italian bread. Oh, I love bread. Lots of local fish are offered on the menu. They also have Italian dishes, too. So you can get into tomato stuff if you want to. But we were both in that mood for the salmon, so that's where we wound up. Now, the veggies were something that Janelle mentioned to me, and I said, I'll make sure to put it in the podcast. She's a veggie eater. I like it. It's okay. I can live with that. I can have a potato. I mean, I don't need to have fresh, broccoli and stuff like that. But I will say this. I had it with this dish, and it was crunchy and fresh and hot. I hate mushy vegetables. Probably the reason that I steer away from them. I hate overcooked asparagus, overcooked broccoli, stuff like that. If you're going to cook it that long, you put it in a stew. You don't make a fresh dish on a plate with it. So there it was. It was delicious. The vegetables were perfectly cooked, and the food was great. So check it out. Lido 73. Old Tavernier Restaurant, a true throwback from the good old days of the Florida Keys. I ain't kidding you. This is a family restaurant that opened in 1988. Has an extensive menu of fish, pasta, and meats. I had the New York strip au poivre. Whew, it was delicious. Good service and obviously popular with the locals. It was packed when we visited it. Check it out. It's on the water. It's got a water view. And now we're moving down to Islamorada. Ziggy and Mad Dogs. Well, what can I say? I've included this in several podcasts just because. It's the best filet mignon I have ever had, and in my 71 years, I have had quite a few all over the United States. It's hard for me to even stray to any other dish on the menu, but I've heard from dinner partners that everything is good, so I'll just take the word for it. We visit for special occasions and sometimes just for the hell of it. My order is usually a martini, very dry, a Caesar salad with some extra anchovies thrown on top, their yummy bread, filet mignon, and a side of either a baked potato or potatoes au gratin. Friendly tip, the sides are more than enough for two, even the baked potato. And again, I made myself hungry, and I guess I'll have to go back again. Gee, too bad. Meat, that's the name of the place, Meat Eatery and Tap Room. You got to look hard for this little place located on a strip shopping center on the Atlantic side as you're heading south into Islamorada. But it's well worth it. The best damn burger I've had in a very long time. I am not kidding you. I had a double stacker. Makes Five Guys and In-N-Out burgers look downright silly. That's all I'm going to say. Be sure to stop by for lunch or dinner. Yes, sirree. This stuff will be, when you pick those burgers up, the juices will be running around your fingertips and down the palm of your hand, and that's how a really good burger should be. Marker 88. This is on the bay side. The Marker, as the locals refer to it, was just reopened after an extensive remodel. Let me say this. The food and the atmosphere is fantastic. Love their burgers and their chicken club sandwich. That's what I'm going for from now on. I had that last time I was there. Really, really good. You can grab a table on the beach and you can listen to live music. They also have a big-time menu of island libations. My favorite is the Islamorada Relaxer. It does as advertised. Islamorada Brewery. Okay, I admit it. I've never eaten there. There's only a food truck, but the beer, their craft beers are the best. I had to include this. It's on the Atlantic side of the road as you're heading into Islamorada. Try the Sandbar Sunday. This is the beer types. Sandbar Sunday, Islamorada Ale, that's my favorite, or Go Fish, another really good ale. You can order a flight of four or six beers for tasting if you're unsure of where to start. If you don't know what a flight is, that's like a board, and they put 4 or 6 small glasses of beer on there so that you can try each one. They're labeled so you know what you're getting into, and it helps you make decisions if you want to buy some to take with. The Lorelei. Well, during my early visits in the 90s and again after meeting and marrying the love of my life, the Lorelei has always been a part of our visits. Finally living in the Keys, there were entire weekends spent at the island or across the street fishing in Florida Bay and having sometimes 3 meals a day at the Mermaid. Hasn't changed much. And that was back in the 90s when that was going on. I can't believe it. Great service. Of course, live music. That's where I first heard Billy Davidson play, and now some 30-odd years later, he's producing my music and even playing my songs there. That's surreal. Anyhow, I'm a sucker for a frozen pina colada and a burger or the mahi-mahi tacos there. Really good. Cayo Grill and Sushi, a little farther down the road on the Atlantic side. We've only been once with a friend, and it was good. I had a thinly sliced filet mignon and a sauce that was out of this world. You know, cooked very rare, yummy stuff. We also tried their sticky ribs and a few other samples. If you are a sushi lover, be sure to give this place a visit. I'm going back. I have to do a few more samples in there. Didn't eat near enough in that place. The Square Grouper. This is on the bay side. My first visit was to the one located down in Cudjoe Key. They now have one in Islamorada on the bay side, and it's pretty awesome. The fish is about as fresh as it gets, and I'm always looking for fresh wahoo, triple tail, or hogfish, and they usually have 1 of 3 available. Get there early. It's not unusual to have a 45-minute to 1-hour wait, even out of season. Warning, warning, warning. They open at 4:20? There's a joke there. If you know what a square grouper is a floating bale of pot been thrown out of the boat when the law is headed their way, and they usually float into shore. They find them all the time. Find them along the Keys Atlantic. Almost every month we have a report of square grouper, as they refer to it, and that's what the restaurant's named after. The Sunset Lounge is located above the Square Grouper on the 3rd floor. It's a good place to hang out, have a drink, and appetizer while you're waiting for your table downstairs. Be aware, however, it's easy to drop quite a bit of cash up there and then do it again down below. but it's probably worth it. Really good drinks upstairs, really great appetizers, some fantastic appetizers to hold you over, while you're waiting for your table. Also a great sunset view. Obviously, it's called the Sunset Lounge. So being elevated, it's 3 stories up. You really get a nice view over the top of the mangrove with the sun going down. Lazy Days in Islamorada. This is a big-time favorite for me. It's right on the ocean with both outside dining by the water and upstairs dining with a view of the Atlantic Ocean. There's only one way to go here, food-wise. Pick your fish and then have it cooked Lazy Day style, which is, get this, encrusted with Japanese breadcrumbs, sautéed, topped with tomatoes, scallions, Parmesan cheese, and homemade key lime butter. Ugh. The menu is huge. It is, but this is the way. Just go with Lazy Day style. Do yourself a favor. Papa Joe's, last but certainly not least on my list. Papa's opened in 1938 and survived until 2006 when it was sold. In 2011, it was destroyed by a hurricane and then literally torn down and sat there until 2024 when it reopened thanks to a local fishing guide. Yep, that's right. That's a long story. I'll have you look it up. Go online, put in Papa Joe's Islamorada history, and you'll get an article that tells you all about the happenings and how it wound up being back in service again. My early visits there were most often happen on my way back from Key West to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. As a matter of fact, I wrote the song Key West Town there for Janelle while sitting at the tiki bar on the water. Janelle and I would later stop there for lunch by boat. Yeah, after a morning of fishing those flats in Florida Bay. Man, I have very, very fond memories of Papa Joe's. The food is great. Just stop by and see and taste for yourself. And now it's time for some useless information.
And now, from the original book of useless information.
You are a reject! You are useless! You can get a job down here cleaning toilets!
Here's your host, Captain Rob Modies.
Well, he swears up and down he's useless, but
he might be all right eventually, but completely useless.
With useless information.
And here we go. Let's see. During World War II, the Navajo language was used successfully as a code by the United States. I think there's a movie about that. W.C. Fields kept $50,000 in Germany just in case the little bastard wins. World champion chess player Reuben Fine helped the United States calculate where enemy submarines might surface based on positional probability. That's pretty weird. During World War II, Americans tried to train bats to drop bombs. Pre-drones, I guess. And that's all till next week. And before I go, the usual final words. The new year is upon us, and I have a good feeling about this one. If nothing else, it should be interesting to say the least. If it's too windy to fish, I'll be finding other things to do outside. I love to garden. I love exploring the Keys by truck and on foot. And more bike riding is in store for me, especially in the Dagny Johnson State Park. January is going to be really interesting, but more about that later. Take care, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed listening, please tell a friend, leave a review, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Facebook page is Catchy Outdoors, website's catchyoutdoors.com, where you can find all the previous podcasts and news about books and my music. Until next time, get outdoors and enjoy.